Disney Plus's new series, The Acolyte, is as much for existing Star Wars fans as it is for new enthusiasts of the franchise. Showrunner Leslie Headland is a massive Star Wars lover, so much so that she understands that introducing new elements and characters into the franchise has the potential to offend the fanatics, but she is still willing to take the risk. Thus, she created a show that's set 100 years before the events of the main Star Wars films, an era that has appeared in graphic novels and comics, but never been explored in live action before. If the idea of a brand new Star Wars show with no storyline ties to the main universe piques your interest, then this video is for you, because The Acolyte just dropped its first 2 episodes, and we are going to break them down for you. May the Force be with us. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Let's discuss the timeline and premise of the show. The Star Wars trilogies of films, all 3 of them, are collectively known as the Skywalker Saga, which focuses on separate members of the Skywalker family and their battles against the evil Sith Lord Palpatine. The Skywalker Saga takes place much after the High Republic era and briefly overlaps with the last few years of the fall of the Jedi Order. The Jedi Order, iconic to the Star Wars franchise, in simplified words is an order of noble warriors, which is sworn to serve on the side of the good and has protected the galactic realm with peace and justice for eons. They are the guardians under which the High Republic era has flourished, which is when the Jedi Order and the political entity known as the Republic are in their golden age. The Acolyte is set in this golden age, where the Jedi Knights don gold and white robes and can tap into the Force on a much more powerful level. For those who need a refresher, the Force is a metaphysical energy realm in the Star Wars universe, created by the very existence of life across the galaxy. The special ones who can wield the Force are known as Force sensitive, who can achieve extraordinary feats, evil or benevolent, by drawing energy from either the dark or light side of the Force. As we told you before, the Acolyte is set towards the end of the golden age of the Jedi Order and the Republic, where the Jedi famously operate out of the planet named Coruscant. When an invisible Jedi Master is murdered in a bar attack, a crime that is unimaginable in the High Republic era, the news reaches the Jedi Order in Coruscant, starting an investigation that brings another Jedi Master face to face for a former pupil as a suspect. While all clues implicate the pupil, the Jedi Master believes otherwise, and this brings him to the shocking realization that May is alive. We'll explain what this means up ahead in the video. The Acolyte Episode 1, Lost, Found, Explained. The pilot episode of the show begins on a new planet named Ueda, which also has some Jedi presence on it. A mysterious cloaked figure steps into a crowded bar, singles out the enigmatic Jedi Master Indara, portrayed by none other than Carrie-Anne Moss. Interestingly, the character has been inspired by the actress's portrayal of Trinity from the Matrix films. The young assassin challenges Indara to a battle, and is easily one-upped by this Force-foo-fighting, most powerful Jedi Master. When Indara unmasks her attacker, she immediately recognizes her as a former female student of the Order, and convinced by her fighting prowess, takes out her lightsaber. Don't get your hopes high about a lightsaber battle, because when the assassin points out to Indara that the Jedi don't wield their lightsaber unless determined to kill the opponent, Indara deactivates it and returns to the fight empty-handed. However, the assailant hurls a dagger at the alien bartender, prompting Indara to divert her attention away from the fight. And taking advantage of the distraction, the assailant kills Indara with a second dagger. Meanwhile, a lookalike of the assassin, who just killed Indara, wakes up in a Neimoidian spacecraft, where she works as a mechanic, aka Mechneck. This is Osha, who is clearly a different person than her doppelganger, dagger-throwing counterpart, who murdered Indara. However, when the shocking news of Indara's murder reaches the Jedi Order at Coruscant, the Jedi Masters mistakenly identify the assailant as Osha because of their uncanny resemblance. Osha was once a Padawan, a former student of the Order, who trained to be a Jedi Knight but left the training after a few years, seemingly because she wasn't all that great with the Jedi ways. Osha is tracked down on the Neimoidian spacecraft, put in handcuffs, and thrown into the locked cells of a prison transport ship, along with a bunch of other criminals. During the flight back to Coruscant, the convicts corrupt the android pilots and manage to exit the ship in escape pods. Osha, who refused to take part in the escape plan, is left alone on the malfunctioning spacecraft, which crash lands into the barren, frozen planet of Karlak. Back at the Jedi headquarters, viewers are introduced to the benevolent Jedi Master Sol, portrayed by Lee Jung-jae of Squid Games. He is a compassionate mentor of aspiring Jedi younglings, one who even trained Osha in the past. It's immediately made evident that Sol has some special attachment to Osha, and that's the reason Jedi Master Vernestra arrives to ask Sol to be unbiased with his judgment towards Osha. When Sol learns of the mishap on board the prison transport ship, he sets out for Karlak with a small crew, believing that Osha survived the crash, and she must be brought back to the Order. On the snowstorm-shrouded planet, Sol tracks down Osha, who is more than relieved to see his old mentor. Osha immediately confides in Sol about a dream vision, which marks a turning point for the show. It's revealed that Osha has a twin sister named May, who was believed to be long dead, but she is actually alive and is on a murdering spree against the Jedi. It is May who killed Master Indara, and she is hungry for more. Both Osha and May are portrayed by actress Amandla Stenberg. The episode's ending reveals that May is working for an evil, strange entity, which speaks in a distorted voice, wields a lightsaber, and harbors sinister plans to destroy the Jedi Order. As per this ominous entity, an acolyte or a pupil of the Jedi is the Order's biggest weapon. The Jedi live in a dream they believe everyone shares. If you attack a Jedi with a weapon, you will fail. Steel or laser are no threat to them, but an acolyte kills without a weapon. An acolyte kills the dream, and May is the perfect choice because of her resemblance to Osha, which will trick the Jedi into thinking that one of their former acolytes has gone rogue, delivering the biggest possible blow to the honor of the Jedi.
Osha!
Explaining Osha's connection to Master Sol. Osha and May grew up on the planet of Brendok. 16 years ago from the current events, 4 Jedi Masters were stationed on the planet of Brendok, and the group included Master Indara and Master Sol. A fire broke out in the home village of Osha and May, which burned down the village and killed Osha's mothers and the rest of her family. Sol and Indara managed to save Osha from the disaster, but May was believed to be dead. Saved by the Jedi Masters, Osha trusted them to be her sole guardians. Orphaned at an age of 8, Osha was inducted into the Jedi Order by Sol and trained to be a knight. But Osha believed it was her sister May who started the fire and was so consumed by grief and anger that she left the Order after just 2 years and joined the Corpsec, an authority that runs the corporate sector in the galaxy's outer rim. Osha is in her early 20s in the current timeline of the show. The Acolyte Episode 2, Revenge and Justice. Explain. The second episode begins with May making her way to the planet Olega, where she tips a local girl and manages to infiltrate the Jedi Temple without getting detected. Inside, she meets her next target, Master Torbin, who has been on meditative silence for 10 long years now. As Torbin is seen floating in midair while meditating, May attempts to break his concentration and threaten him, but they have some unfinished business to take care of. She follows up with a barrage of attacks, but all her moves are physically resisted by Master Torbin. Meanwhile, the intruder alarm goes off in the temple, and May has to escape, leaving Torbin unscathed. Back into the city, May meets up with her accomplice, a smuggler named Chimere, who is posing as a handyman in a local apothecary. May requests him to formulate a poison strong enough to kill Torbin, and Chimere quickly whips up a glowing green concoction named Bunta, a potent poison that can only be made by the inhabitants of May's home planet, Brendok. May re-enters the temple and tells Master Torbin that he must pay with his life for what the Jedi did on Brendok 16 years ago. She manages to guilt-trip Torbin into taking the poison as absolution, thus killing him without having to fight him. Meanwhile, the news of the first attack on Master Torbin reaches Master Sol and his crew, who are bringing Osha back to Coruscant. Now that they realize that Osha couldn't have attacked Master Torbin, the crew changed their course and make their way to Olega. But by the time Sol's crew reaches the Jedi Temple, Torbin is already dead. Osha sniffs the empty vial next to Torbin and identifies it to be the Bunta poison, which has to be brewed freshly for it to be potent. They track down the apothecary and confront Chimere, who cracks under pressure and reveals May's whereabouts. Later that night, when May sneaks in to meet Chimere, she is confronted by Sol, who believes there's still goodness left in May and that she is being manipulated by a vengeful master. May attacks Sol, but he keeps thwarting her moves and tries to talk her out of it. Sol even infiltrates May's mind to find out about the Master, who has taken painstaking measures to conceal his identity. Eventually, Sol tells May that her sister Osha is still alive and is currently with them in Olega. Though visibly shocked at the revelation, May manages to escape being arrested by Sol's crew and hijacks a stranger's car. It is at this moment that Osha emerges from the shadows, pointing a gun. Witnessing Osha alive, May instantly softens up and called out to her as Oshi, but the infuriated Osha responds by firing rounds at her sister. May takes off in the car and later secretly meets up with Chimere, and together they chart their course for Kofar, a relaxing forest retreat in the Outer Rim, where lives the solitary Wookiee Jedi Kelnaka. Meanwhile, after learning about May's plans to take down his fellow Jedi Masters, Sol is determined to head towards Kofar to save Kelnaka, but Master Vernestra calls the crew back to Coruscant to formulate a detailed action plan. The second episode ends with a fascinating glimpse of Kofar, where Kelnaka has made a home out of a broken spaceship. We also meet the growling and roaring Kelnaka, portrayed by Star Wars regular Jonas Huatamo, who played Chewbacca in the last 3 Star Wars films and also in Solo, A Star Wars Story.
Oshi?
Explaining May's backstory. It remains unclear what exactly happened to May after she survived the village fire 16 years ago, but what can be surmised for now is that she came to be trained by an evil master who clearly taps into the dark side of the Force. Now, the Jedi presence on Brandok 16 years ago is mysteriously linked to the fire disaster that destroyed her village, and the Master has manipulated May into believing that the 4 Jedi Masters stationed in Brandok at that time were responsible for the mishap. Thus, May seeks revenge on the 4 Jedi, namely Indara, Torben, Kelnaka, and Sol, 2 of whom she has already killed. May also seeks to achieve brownie points by killing Torben without any weapon. Her goal for now seems to appease the Master by killing all 4 of the Jedi, and she is prepared to accomplish her mission at any cost, even if that means going up against her long-lost sister. What to expect from episode 3. We are hoping to see more of Osha and May's backstory in the 3rd episode of The Acolyte, which is scheduled to release on June 11th, such as how May managed to survive the fire even when she was presumed dead, and who took her under their wing in the years that followed. As per actress Amandla Stenberg, who portrays the twin sisters, Osha and May represent the yin and yang concept, as one belongs to the light side of the Force and the other to the dark, and delving into their origins will shed light into what made them take such contrasting paths. Also, expectedly, there should be more character introductions such as Mother Aniseya, who heads a coven of Force witches, portrayed by Jodie Turner-Smith. Mother Aniseya's Force witches values their independence and beliefs over everything else. They may just turn out to be instrumental in unmasking the identity of the villainous Master. Most importantly, there will be more of the solitary Wookiee Jedi Kelnaka in the 3rd episode. May and Chimere already on their way to Kofar, and in the next episode, May will surely attempt to take down Kelnaka. What remains to be seen is whether May will succeed in her mission, or will it be thwarted by an external force. We know that Vernestra has called Master Sol and his crew back to base, but Sol wasn't too pleased with the idea, so there's a possibility that he will defy Vernestra's instructions and land up in Kofar to aid Kelnaka and save May from committing another crime. Marvelous verdict. The Acolyte is such a refreshing take on the Star Wars lore, with just the right amount of nostalgia here and there. The show seems pretty intriguing for now, and we hope it maintains the pace throughout the season. What do you think will happen in the next episode of The Acolyte? Please share with us in the comments section if you can decipher more clues. And if you liked our video, give us a shout out, and watch this space for more Acolyte related content, and see you super soon.